Swinging a ground ball, stabbed by Folk. He has it. He underhands to first, and the Boston Red Sox are the world champions for the first time in 86 years.
Together they have, and together they stand alone on top of the mountain for now. And once again, the Boston Celtics stand alone for all time. It is banner 18.
No icing. For the first time in 39 years, the Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup.
And a title for the Patriots!
I can't believe it!
They have completed the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history.
Good evening, listeners. Welcome into episode 41 of a New Era podcast. My name is Hanson, better known as Fryddy Online, and I am joined by my co-host and father, the OG Frid. Dad, would you like to say hello to the listeners this evening?
Yeah, good evening, newbies. Good evening there, Fryddy. I think I called it last week. I called it.
What do you mean?
I said an evening podcast. I saw your Instagram photos. You tore up Knoxville.
Yeah, but not bad enough that I could have made it this morning. But, you know, you were just saying right before this, oh, I'm kind of happy. I was a little tired. Don't switch this up now. Back on the air. That's crazy. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works out though. It works out though.
Don't
especially
throw me under the bus on the air.
You're throwing me under the bus. I'm gonna send it back.
I called it though. I said it was an evening one.
All right.
Oh.
It kind of flows now though. That almost flows better than the morning introduction. That was. It just feels easy now because it's been like what 3 out of the last 4.
Yeah.
Evenings or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of works. I don't think they care.
No,
it's out when it's out, regardless.
I'm telling you guys, thank you, listeners. I just looked. I just told Ansa before we jumped on. It looks like a lot of you are listening Thursday afternoons and some Fridays. Must be because of our evening routine right now. But again, thank you. Again, we're calling you the newbies, those that have listened constantly. Thank you. And yeah, if you are a new listener to us, again, thank you so much for our takes on right now. We got 2, soon to be 3 of the 4 New England sports and our constant college football intakes.
Yep.
Not intakes, but I should say takes.
Takes. I was like, I don't know where you're going there.
Yeah.
As we continue to move through this.
I gotta tell you, Saturday. So I was at a conference all weekend in South Carolina, a state in which you cannot bet, but fortunately for the Flip app, you can. I had a 10-leg parlay on Saturday, $1 to get me 312, and I went 7-3.
Who missed it for you?
I missed Mississippi State. I think I missed an over. I think it was like the Pittsburgh game, and I don't know. There was one other, but yeah, I had
still 7-3. 7-3 is not bad.
No,
especially considering I'm on a bad streak right now. I lost so much money over the last week betting. It's bad. We gotta lock back in. I don't know what it is. Thought I was starting off hot with hockey, and then like everybody just forgot how to play the sport that they play professionally, including the Bruins when they play the Panthers, as it looks like this season.
Yeah. Are we going to jump right into that? Yeah.
Let's jump right into it. Let's get to them first. As we do, kind of like we were doing with the Red Sox, we've got our first full week down of the NHL season. And at the time that we're recording this now, we are now 2-2 after losing to the Panthers in today's matinee game. I don't know why they were doing. They had like 3 1:00 games. I don't know why they were doing them today.
It's Columbus Day.
That's Columbus why. I just didn't know they had you do early games for that. Like I didn't know that was an NHL thing.
Well, I think when Columbus was looking for the new land, he played a little floor hockey on the boat there on the Mayflower or Santa Maria.
Oh, so because of that, you shove 3 games at 1:00 on a Monday?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Makes
there
sense.
was floor hockey between all the boats, and then they ended up coming to America and having that final. For all
You
you,
learn something new every day. Nice.
yeah,
This is now our
exactly.
history
For all you,
podcast.
yep.
But
Take it to the
anyways, let's not. 4-3 loss to the Panthers today at home. The second over the last 4 games. We started off the season last Tuesday on opening night with the 6-4 loss. Then go on to home opener Thursday, beat the Canadiens 6-4. Friday or Saturday, beat the Kings 2-1 at home in overtime. And then that brings us to today's loss. I don't know about you. I've watched. I didn't get to watch Saturday's game, but I watched Thursdays, watched all today's, watched all the game against the first game against the Panthers. I was really pissed off after the opening game, but then I moved on to see the Panthers lose to the Sabres and the Senators this week, and I realized I don't even think that was necessarily just us. You could have put them against the greatest team ever assembled. They were not going to lose their banner night at home.
right.
And last time, now granted, we did make it close at the end of the game, only 2-goal game, but we know for the most part that was like a 5-1 game. Last time we were embarrassed that bad on another team's home opener night after, raising the banner was against the Capitals in 2018 when we went on to the Stanley Cup final against the Blues. So just a nice little thing to put out there if you're worried too much about the embarrassment. But then you rebound. You get Swayman for Thursday against the Canadiens. Let in some so-so ones, but so is every goalie around the league. It's going to take at least a good 10, 15 games until these defenses get back to speed.
Yeah, especially with no preseason, too.
Mm-hmm. Then Saturday, then we got that's the sort of game that we wanted to play. That was a great game by Swayman there, only letting up 1. That's like the Bruins hockey we saw of last year. And then today, started off a little hot in the first, got up 1-0, and Florida just came back. I think they put it 2-1 to 3-2 to 4-2 to 4-3, and then we couldn't get the equalizer at the end of the game. Drop our second one to them. But it is nice to see 2-0 against every team that isn't the Florida Panthers right now. So we're on pace to go 78-4, which is pretty good. But I wanted to ask, what do you think about this team offensively and stuff with some of the additions that we saw throughout this first week? I don't know about you. I definitely did feel a little worrisome offensively about them in the first period or so against the Panthers on Tuesday. It's kind of looking like the same old Bruins, not generating a lot of shots on goal, getting stifled by that Panthers just pest defense that they play. But then even with the loss today, I feel like the team that we saw in these last 3 games is not the same team that we saw Tuesday. They're looking to move the puck around. The puck movement looks a lot better. We're seeing some shots on goal earlier in these games. We were out shooting Florida for a good part of the start of this game. So how do you feel about how they're meshing? And do you think then secondly, the defense that we're not seeing throughout this first week is going to be able to find its way back in soon?
Yeah, I have, excuse me there. No worries about our defensive pairings. Again, your number one goalie had no preseason whatsoever, and then he goes into now 3 out of the last 3 games in a row, and 3 out of 4, 5 days. So he's getting his legs. He's going to be fine. And again, defensively, Charlie McAvoy looks a little more exciting with a pairing of a defenseman behind him, so he can make those chances that he does that was upsetting us in the playoffs last year. Elias Lindholm, oh my God. What a signing
Oh man, didn't I tell you this? Didn't I tell you this when this happened? And when we had free agency and we saw that one big contract, some people are saying, "Oh, he's not even that good, doesn't deserve that money." But they didn't understand how he would pair, how he would fit into this offense. He's exactly what we needed. Oh my God, he looks like the Elias Lindholm before the injuries and stuff last year that was an all-star in 23 or 22. Yeah, he's been freaking phenomenal.
And actually, if you saw, obviously you were watching the game, I was too, seeing Jim making that change in that second line. Your number one line, wow. For part of me was like, do you put Brad Marchand up on that number one line just to make it absolutely, I think, incredible? But no, I don't think you can break that up. I mean, Pavel Zacha, even though he's just sitting here now with 2 goals out of 4 games, but I think he's skating a lot more freely with the other 2. I mean, he started off with an empty netter, shorthanded goal the other day. Just his skating and having that flexibility, because he took the face off on the left instead of Lindholm because he's better on the left. Just able to, those 3 right now, that number one line is going to be something this year compared to top number one lines in this league, I think.
And you mentioned Zacha, and Marchand, you put him up there. They're just for the namesake alone of a Marchand, Lindholm, Pasternak line.
Yeah.
But no, I think you keep it exactly where you're at. I feel Pavel Zacha just complements Pasternak so well on this line. They love to play together as
you got 2 checks.
And all.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep. I don't think you can break that up. I think some people would be like, "Oh, it's not that serious." No, I think it is. I think they've got great chemistry for it. They play off each other really well. And to me, it's not like I feel like the second line is taking a hit by not having Zacha down there or anything like that. Because I'm still loving seeing Marchand and Coyle together, as well as Geeky, what he's done so far. Some of the third and fourth ones that we were liking to start the year, there were some points throughout this week where, we were a little worrisome. One of them being, I think it was game 1. Brazo had a really bad game. And then Thursday, there was a goalie interference call on him that took away a goal. Doesn't matter. We ended up winning that 6-4. I think it was a bullshit call. But after that, I thought he's played well on the back half of this week in those lines in general. Trent Frederick might be my unsung hero of the week for the Bruins. I think he's been just an underrated guy all throughout the week. And God, it looks like he's going to want to step into one of these roles as like one of those emotional, go beat them up guys, one of your like goon leaders that you need. With some of those guys that we lost in free agency, Frederick, yeah, man, he's barking, and he wanted to beat the shit out of Tkachuk on Tuesday night, and Tkachuk didn't want to do it apparently. But no, I really liked what I saw this week. It would have been great to get this one today after losing Tuesday. Ultimately, I think it's fine. I don't know the next time that we see the Panthers. I'm looking right now, and it won't be till January 11th in Florida. And then I think we play one more time, March 11th in Boston. So we got a lot of time to figure out ourselves as a team, get the defense back, like you were saying, because you weren't too worried about that. I feel pretty confident about being able to split this season series with them at 2-2. And the way that we were playing against these other teams, I feel like we're put in a good spot to be able to compete with Florida as long as we get that tiebreaker at the top of the division.
Yeah, the one thing, and I'm just looking, and again, these are the stats through the first 3 games. I think Mason Laurie looked a little slow, little hesitant to begin with, especially today, making some of those puck moves. I mean, obviously he connected on the game winner on Sunday on that 3v3 skate in overtime, but looked a little slow. You know, he's pulling 16.5 minutes. You know, I mean, it looks great. The defense all along looks to be around the 19 to 16. So I think with 3 deep, you're not having to hide one of them and outplay somebody else. I mean, Charlie obviously 22 minutes leading everyone, and Carlos at and again this through 3 19-16. But right now, and I'm not worried about Charlie Coyle. But it's kind of interesting to see him pointless right now. I wonder, and our little friend we loved there going into last year, we talked to him a little bit. Fortunately, he was injured, but Matthew Poitras, seeing him against the Kings, he is looking to make that pass first, that centerman assist. He almost had Frederick almost had an incredible goal because of his setup, trying to bank it off the goalie there because he was behind the net, just the creativity. But I wonder if you put Poitras in the middle and you have Coyle, who is also looking to mix things up in the corners, put him at, you know, right wing with Marchand on left, just ease that centerman burden from him.
You're saying on the second line, so then that puts
Marchand.
So you would move Poitras up to center. Yeah. You move Coyle to right wing on the second line, and then what? You move Geeky. Geeky's got to move down to the third line. Then are you putting who's manning that center? Then is it Frederick?
Frederick. Yep.
I mean, I could see it.
I mean, I could see.
I don't know. I don't think.
Right now, your fourth line, especially today, was leading the team. They were obviously just pests. And I think having a third line of Frederick, Geeky, and, you know, I don't know who else, but
that would be Brazeau.
And Brazeau. I think that would be another fun little pesky little line.
I wouldn't even mind, you know, if it is something where you're throwing Coyle into that wing, you're going to screw this up a little bit, but you move Geeky down. You go Frederick, move Costello up to the third line center, move Geeky down to the third, and Brazeau goes down to the fourth. Then I don't know who operates that center on the fourth. Is that a Beecher? Is that a Brazeau? Yep. Probably not a Brazeau.
No.
Or Kepke. I don't know. I just, you know, we could sit here and come up with combinations of these lines for an hour, but at the end of the day, I don't think we really need to yet. I don't think it's obviously not time to freaking sound the alarms and freak out. You know, we know we can compete with this Florida team. It just so happens that we have to play them 2 times within the first 4 games. And I think these lines, as long as you don't mess with them too much, they're doing what you need them to do. I think you just got to let them mesh a little more.
My question to you, oh hockey god that you are, is does our style of play work with the way the Panthers are? Are the Panthers style outplaying us? Do we have to change our style against them compared to everybody else? And can we do it?
I'm almost inclined to say yes to that question because I realized this especially on Tuesday, but granted, like I said, there's a lot of emotions going on that night. That's your banner night. That's a fucking first Stanley Cup. You know, it's allowed. It's they hate us. We hate that. There's a lot going on in that game. Okay. I'm not going to put too much stock into game 1 of 82, especially on the road against the Stanley Cup champion. But I noticed Tuesday as where I didn't much on Thursday's game against the Canadiens. And I saw it a little bit in today's game, but not as much as Tuesday. So I think a lot of it does go into they're just flying around. They play us defensively so just gross. Like, they are pests. They don't give, as opposed to like when they were playing Ottawa and Buffalo when they lost both games this week. They are not up in their asshole like they are against us.
Right.
They know that we are not going to be. We're very selective with our shots. So we want to get the puck movement, and they know that, and they know how to counter us, and that's why they've beat us in the last 2 playoff series, is because they know how to get in our fucking face and really irritate us and have us freaking out, turnover, boom, they go quick, and we can see it. We've seen it in every game, in the playoffs and the regular season in the last 2 years. It's something that I know this is how Jim wants us to play, and play the defensive kind of game like we were playing last year, but we did get some of these free agency additions so that you can hope we can generate a little more offense, and we don't have to just score 2 and hope we can hold them to 1 and hope that we can win a 2-1 game. No, now we can hope that we can get, a 4-2, 4-3 game, and we can still put up the 4 to end up winning in that situation. I think we need to not be afraid of just overshooting the puck when we play Florida. We can play our same sort of game against the other, 28, the fucking 30 teams in the league, however many there are now, not including Florida. I think we need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable against them and just get the puck on net. Get it up there. You got to be, we will match their physicality. We are rough with them, man. They even referenced it a bunch in the playoffs last year. They hate playing us because we hate playing them, and we're going to give them a hurt. But you got to be comfortable with just getting the puck up there, trying to get some stuff on net. We even saw it on Tuesday's game when we're down 5-1. You just start throwing stuff up there, and Bobrovsky gets a little bit laid back, and before you know it, we've got the guys and the talent that you get a couple rebounds right in front of the goal, you can put in 2 to 3 pretty quickly. You just got to be okay with getting yourself in that position. We can no longer do this thing where we're getting outshot 26-12 going into the third period. We can do it against every other team. We cannot do it against Florida. We got to be uncomfortable, and that's just how they're going to have to learn.
Yeah, it looks as if, we like to play, especially in the offensive zone, keep it around the outside and then look, try and go past whatever. I think we got our goals, our comeback, if you will, being down 5-1 to go to 6-4. And then today, putting a body in front of Brazo. He does not like that. And we scored a couple of goals by that. But yeah, again, offensively, we just like to just keep it around the boards, swing it around, try and have that mismatch, defense going one way, and then we bring it back the other way. Now we got to put a body inside. The old Zdeno Chara.
Yeah.
When we had on the power plays, when we put him right in the middle against every goalie.
Quite frankly, you got to trust your guys here too. You got to go to your guys. You got to look for 88 here. He had the opportunity to start the year with a goal in 4 straight games today. Didn't get one today against Florida, but it can go to show you. We in game 1, he had 5 shots on goal. Granted, yes, we lose that game, but it helps bring us back and make that not as embarrassing of a loss. You go to Montreal, he's got 6 shots on net. He's got a goal and an assist too with a couple of points. LA, You're lucky he does have his goal there, and we do win 2-1, but he did only shoot it 2 times. But this is where I say, like, we can play our game to beat the majority of teams in this league. But against Florida, you can't have something today. He shot twice. Did have a positive +1 like on the ice, but you got to get him involved. You got to trust him and just try to let him have the green light, because the earlier that Pasta gets out there and you can start to see him feel more comfortable just letting him rip, the better he's going to play and the better that whole unit's going to play around him too.
Yeah. And obviously Lindholm, even though he is leading us, again, 3 games, I don't have the current, but he was leading us with 5 points, 2 goals, 3 assists. He's definitely looking for Pasta. And I think he's looking for Zaka as well.
Mm-hmm. He didn't have a point today. Beecher had 2, Kostelik had 3 assists, Kepke 1. Yeah, so I think he'll still be leading the team. But
he'll still be leading, yep.
Yeah. But all right, overall, like I said, not a bad week. I mean, I'm fine walking out of the first week 2-2, only losing to one team and not having to play them for another 2 months. I'm excited to see this little West away road trip that we go on here as we get into our look ahead, how we feel we're going to fare. So we'll start out with it. We had the early game here today and Monday. Now we got probably traveling to Colorado tomorrow morning, maybe later, as we play Colorado on Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. And then Saturday, we get to go into Utah at 9 p.m., playing them at home. They have been a fun team over this first week. Did pick up their first loss today to the New Jersey Devils, but no, they've been spunky, man, and that's fun. That'll be a good game to watch. And I'll even go forward to the next game after that too. The one next Tuesday. We finish off this road trip at Nashville at the Predators at 8:45 p.m. What do you see from this little short away